Well, hello, my talented friends. Welcome to episode 400 of Casting Actors Cast. Wow. Can we take a moment and just appreciate that? 400 episodes? Oh my gosh, that's wild. I am beyond grateful to share this space with you week after week, and I can't think of a better topic for episode 400 than the one every actor faces all the time: the self tape. Self tapes are where careers happen today. They are the front door of the business. And like any front door, there's a welcome mat. And there's also banana peels hidden right under the surface waiting to trip you up. This is Casting Actors Cast.
Casting actors cast, what a show! With Jeffrey Dreisbach, we're ready to go. From agents to gigs, learn what you like. Tune in every week, we're bringing you back.
Here he is, your host, Jeffrey Dreisbach.
You've done more auditions than a casting director has said, "Thanks, we'll be in touch." It's time you got serious and learned acting strategies, audition secrets, and tips to grow. Get the Actor's Playbook for Getting Cast. Booked It by Jeffrey Dreisbach. Available right now. Also introducing Next Level Auditions, the online video course. Why not get both? Call it the Ultimate Audition Toolkit. You won't find these on sale because they're worth every penny. If you're serious about your acting career, this is your next step. This is your moment. Let's make it count. CastingActorsCast.com. Well, like I said, hello, and welcome to this episode of Casting Actors Cast. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach, casting director. I'm a former actor. I'm an author. I also do a ton of teaching. And I'm excited to present this 400th episode. These Patios podcast videos have been going on for several years, and I'm just delighted that you're out there. And I'm really excited that this podcast continues to grow exponentially. It's been very, very exciting. I invite you to check out our website, castingactorscast.com. There you're going to find some freebies if you fill out the form that says dive into the talent pool. There's a free downloadable PDF book, absolutely free. There's a free video called Casting Secrets, What They Don't Tell You. There's also Jeff's Jots, which is a place on the website where you can download corresponding show notes to each of the episodes. A lot of actors have found that very, very useful. And also my book is available now called Booked It, the Actor's Playbook for Getting Cast. All of that's available at castingactorscast.com. And of course, my shout out to my dear friends at Actors Connection, actorsconnection.com/New York. Also, I just have to say, it's been an honor to be with the Broadway Podcast Network. So if you're getting this podcast at the on the Broadway Podcast Network, I'm delighted they've been sponsoring the show for some time now, and we're on a great run. And so I hope that you continue to listen. And also, when you fill out that form that says dive into the talent pool, that's a place you can ask me questions. You can correspond with me. You can let me know if an episode was great for you or not. If you can leave me a review, a like, and share, and subscribe, all that stuff. It really does make an impact on me personally, as well as keep me excited to give you all of the information that I possibly can about the nature of the business and the craft and artistry of acting. Today, we're shining we're going to call it a big, bright spotlight on the self-tape trap. Now, I've done a lot of videos and patios, rather, on self-tape, but the self-tape trap is something I really want to address specifically. Those are the choices actors make with good intentions, the really good intentions that accidentally sabotage the performance. These traps are very, very sneaky, by the way, and they can feel like extra effort or smart choices or making it real. But casting directors are watching self-tapes with a totally different lens. So let's start with one of the biggest traps, the choice that becomes the star of the scene: doing too much. Adding details because you want to show range. listen, here's the thing. If your acting choices draw attention away from the character's truth, that's not creativity. That's clutter. Let's talk props. If the scene takes place while you're cooking, for example, guess what? You don't need to construct a 5-course meal behind the camera. We're not here to judge your onion chopping technique. We're here to see how you handle the stakes in the scene. Stakes, you know how, I don't mean, okay, never mind. See, the best prop you could bring to your self tape is your imagination. The worst prop, in my view, is anything that forces us to watch something other than your eyes. Now, let's address another trap: the performance that tries too hard to be different. You think uniqueness comes from adding quirks, but uniqueness actually comes from your truth, the way you believe the situation, the way you process the emotion. If you're inventing quirks to stand out, that's insecurity. That's not imagination. And insecurity never books, I promise you. Next trap, the runaway. The runaway eye line. Your reader is not teleporting around the room. I need you to pick one spot for the other character and let us feel connection. And unless the scene calls for it, do not act into the camera lens ever. POV shots are rarely requested. And when they are, they're very, very specific. And this one's huge. Rushing. Actors often race through the moment like they're being timed by the highway police. But story lives in reaction. So take the breath, take the beat. Let the words matter. Let the stakes land. See, when you breathe, we breathe. When you rush, we check out. All right, now let's talk about perfection, or rather, the pursuit of perfection that kills your performances. Let me tell you the truth. Self tapes do not get better after take 3. They get tighter. They get more cautious. They become less alive. The sparkle disappears. So do yourself a favor. Give yourself a limit. I always subscribe to the 3-take rule. Tell yourself you're going to do this audition in 3 takes no matter what. I know it's really, really hard, but I promise you, once you get into the habit of that, it has really positive effects, not only in that audition, but also in your career, because when you show up on the set, you're not conditioned to do multiple takes over and over again. You're conditioned to do really excellent takes right out of the gate. That is an actor that directors want to work with. That is an actor that casting directors love, is your ability to be prepared. So condition yourself in your audition with the 3-take rule. So it has a benefit for your self-tape, but it has long-term benefits as well. I want you to trust your gut. I want you to let your truth lead. Trust is actually the remedy to every trap. Did you know that? Trust is the remedy to every trap. So let's shift now into what helps your self-tape shine. We're going to come up with those ideas right after this. So now we want your self-tapes to shine. So here are some thoughts about that. The first, and in my view, the most important thing is clarity. We should instantly understand who you are talking to, what you want, why it matters. With no confusion, no guessing, clarity is charisma. All right, somebody write that down. That was really good. Clarity is charisma. Second, connection. You are talking to someone you care about or not. Even in a procedural interrogation scene, there's a relationship. Let us feel what they do to you. Third, the simple, specific choice. Not a million ideas mashed together, just one guiding choice. For example, I need you to stay. I cannot let you die. I want you to trust me. I'm terrified you'll lose out. You see, those kinds of statements that you can discover in the writing is specificity, and specificity is the holy grail of self-tapes. Now, if you want your self-tape to really stand out, let yourself be surprised by the moment. For example, a spontaneous laugh, a shift in tempo, a vulnerability crack in the voice. That's the stuff that makes us lean in. That's the stuff that makes us say, this actor is living it. That really is true. Now, here's something really important. Your self-tape is a gift, not a test. You're not being tested. You're offering an opportunity for us to see how you're going to play the part. You see, it's not, will you approve of me? It's, let me offer you something wonderful. That mindset alone changes everything. And please remember, casting directors are not watching to find all the reasons to say no. We are looking for the reason to say yes. We want to discover you. We really do. We want to find actors we can trust and root for and hire again. So let's dive a little bit deeper. The self-tape is a reflection of you simply saying, this is how I'm going to play this part. Being in touch with your uniqueness, that specificity, all of those things combine together to make a really wonderful, genuine series of moments. Trust your training. Share those moments, the specificity of those moments. All of that combined together will make an impact. As someone who's watched hundreds and hundreds of self-tapes, I can't tell you how many self-tapes that are out there that I make a discerning, judgmental kind of decision about you in about 15 seconds, oftentimes less. So it's not about trying to do something to stand out. It's that serious commitment and that conscious effort to be in the moment and live the truth of that character in the scene. All right, let me leave you with this. This is a guiding question for every tape. You need to ask this question. Are my choices helping me tell the story, or am I hiding the fact that I don't trust myself? Because, listen, when your choices serve the story, we see you, not the technique, not the fear, not the effort. You, the human being with imagination and heart and honesty. And that, my friends, that is what books. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being the growing, brave, passionate artist that you are. I truly believe that your very next self-tape could change your life. Make choices that honor that possibility. Listen, I love sharing this journey with you, and I promise there's so much more ahead. Prepare smarter, act better, book more. This is Jeff and Casting Actors Cast signing off from episode 400. Here's to the next 400. And to you.
It's been great having you in our talent pool today. Your support means the world to us, so please consider sharing, liking, and reviewing this episode wherever you jump in. I'm Megan Grace Martinez. Thanks.